Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here this afternoon with Keedo and Rich, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Keedo's ability to understand and respond to his formal on-leash obedience commands, the correction and the motivation that we give the dogs when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Keedo will come home with his various training equipment, and you're going to be taught how to use all of that during your follow-up training session tomorrow. Now, he is sitting very nicely at Rich's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Keedo heel. Now, heeling means that Keedo walks nicely next to your left leg, not forging ahead or lagging behind, but staying even with your left leg when you're walking him. And each time that you stop walking, Keedo has been taught to sit automatically without being told to wait for his next command. So this makes taking your dog for a walk a pleasure instead of a drag. He's not pulling you down the street. He's walking nicely next to you like a gentleman, and if you stop to cross traffic or talk to a neighbor, he's sitting automatically at your left and waiting for his next command. And the next command that Rich is demonstrating is the sit-stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. You're going to practice this command indoors as well as outdoors. And when Rich returns back to him, he walks counterclockwise all the way around him, returning all the way back to where they started. He gets some loving for praise for a good job, and Rich will take off heeling with him again. Now, the job that you have to do also when you're walking with him is to keep his head up off the ground, because if you control his head, you control him. So make sure that he's not dragging you and putting his head on the ground, sitting automatically when you stop to cross the street. Rich leaves him in another sit-stay. Turns to face him and practice right in your living room. You don't have to go outside. And this time, instead of returning back to him, Rich is going to demonstrate the come on command. Keedo come, and he comes right in and sits facing your knees. And then he returns back to heel and back sitting. Now remember, practicing in obedience changes your pack status. You were having a problem with aggression. So working with him, making him do all of his new skills for you, kind of changes the dynamic of the relationship and makes you top dog, which is very important. You notice that little tug that Rich gave him when he didn't sit automatically. Stay. He's looking at Rich for direction, and this time, instead of returning back to him, Rich is going to demonstrate the come on command. Comes right in and sits, doesn't jump all over you, and then he returns back to heel and back sitting. Now, the next commands that we're going to be demonstrating for you are your down commands, and there are two of those. The first one is the down from a heel position. Left open palm straight down toward the ground, the one-word command to down and stay. Now, labs are notorious for putting their noses on the ground, so you might want to tell him no when he's doing that, and practice this right in your living room. When Rich returns back to him, he walks all the way around him again and stops at his shoulders and praises him for a good job, and he'll demonstrate that exercise again for us. He has him sit, left open palm straight down toward the ground, down, and stay. And you're going to work up on your sit stays to 3 minutes and on your down stays to 5 minutes. Rich calls him in, has him sit. Puts him back to heel and back sitting. Good job, bud. And the very last command that we're going to demonstrate for you is your down from a distance. Rich leaves him in a sit stay and he turns to face him. He's going to use his right hand to give the command and drop him into a down from a distance. And he held that very nicely. Now, Rich will be going over a lot of instruction with you tomorrow of ways to keep this going at home. He has come a very long way. We know you've missed him terribly and you're anxious to get him home, but we've enjoyed him. And thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company. We'll see you real soon.